I get the commercial first. Yay.
Shit, there it goes again, man.
What, my audio?
No. I'm gonna be. I don't have the time right now to deal with this other browser that's wanting to crash all the time. Like I said, if I have to, I'll just go back to Chrome, but I'm not gonna try doing it midstream. I'll just deal with it, and if it crashes, I'll fire the window back up.
Let's kick the tires and light the fires.
Yep, boom. Here we go. Hey, everybody. We are here.
Oh, hi.
Well, we've been here for a little while. Yeah, kind of, sort of. Oh, since I got this up, I can test something real quick here.
You didn't say there'd be any tests.
Point.
Now I feel pressure.
No, I don't have to get out of my chair to adjust lighting anymore. I'm slowly but surely automating everything around here. If shit gets too bright, I can just crank it down, crank it up. And the only thing now is I've got like a stack of remotes laying around here for different shit.
Now you got to put it all into your Stream Deck and push buttons.
I could, but I don't want to. Because technically I don't plan on in the near future actually messing with the lights often. Earlier today, man, it was just a cable nightmare. I got tired of tripping over cables and shit like that, and it's like, I'm going against my own normal advice about, you gotta route all your cables and everything so they're out of the way, you don't trip over them, and blah 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 blah. That's where my video issues started earlier today, because I pulled all my HDMI's out from the back of the computer, and it's like, shit, which one is which? Fuck.
What's up, Cornfed?
Hey, Cornfed, how's it going? That's almost a song, man. I just happened to sit down at the computer, and who should I see? Those guys. Those guys.
Staring back at me. Sorry. Just kind of got into it. What's up, Big Prince? What's driving you nuts? Earl singing, or?
Oh, shit.
Oh, you're banding.
You got you got a picture of it? You throw it up on the Discord? I mean,
I've been in and out on my net today, so it's been like really irritating me. So I haven't been really helpful with people on our normal artillery chat. Sorry, I just get frustrated because everything goes out. Yeah, but it Nexus Discord, not artillery, because he doesn't really look at artillery. What's going on, Len? Earl doesn't frequent artillery, so let's see. There you go. Well, let's see. Number one, it's white. And for some reason, a lot of whites do that.
Youch.
I don't know why.
Let me get this pulled up, and hopefully... You can get Taz's coffee off of there.
What's the what's all the numbers on this?
On what?
On his cube, I want to see.
Oh. Fuck.
That's some weird banding.
Okay. Hang on, guys. I got to swap this over to... I wonder if it's Discord doing it. Wouldn't surprise me. me shut Restream off first. I'll give it a shot, see if... Wow. The level that that's at, as far as how badly it's doing it, first thing you want to say is that's kind of extrusion, but no, those are just not dropping center.
And it's like a pattern too. I
Um,
mean, he gets like a chunky first layer, and then the second comes in, goes thinner, and then it goes back out, back in, back out, back in a half step. It's weird.
Shit, there goes. Hang on. All right, this is gonna piss me off. Bear with me. I'm gonna swap these secondary windows over to Chrome. I'm tired of dealing with it.
But I was just wondering what his numbers were on his settings, just to try and make sure. I mean, it's not as dramatic. Obviously, he did lighting dramatic on it, but that's how you see it, because half the time you don't see it when you look at it. What are you printing at? The filament, the temp, your speeds, just to get an idea, because I don't want to like rattle off something you're already doing. So, okay, why 210? Just out of curiosity. Which sounds like Y2K, but anyway. I mean, eSun runs around. What's up, Roxas? I want to say around 200 to 205. It's kind of like
I'm almost exclusively 205 or even 200 with eSun, if that's the PLA plus that you are messing with. Let me go up
yeah,
to...
because I run most of my filament at two. I run it at 205 most of the time, because usually if you're getting it too hot, it's gonna start bulging, and then it's gonna like self-correct at a certain layer height, and then it's gonna go back to bulging again because of the way the temp flux, especially as you get higher. Even though I don't get any screen time, need to be a coffee cup.
Yeah, I'm looking for it here. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, the pattern's weird. Now this is on. See, I don't think mechanical when I see patterns. I usually think slicer. Honestly, when I see a pattern that repeats 9 out of 10 times for me, it's something with a slice.
Well,
Now, if I see
it could be
at a
the
certain height
that's
or a
almost
certain position,
that's almost like way too regular.
I just don't see that being mechanical. I really don't.
Well, lately, one thing to maybe look at, I mean, it's a shot in the dark. The mount screws for the extruder that's behind the extruder motor.
See, I haven't been playing with Idea Maker. I haven't had a chance. I looked at the settings and I just didn't like the way they were on the one that's been published.
Oh, well, okay, case point, one way to quickly check that is throw it
Run
on
it with
another,
Cura.
yeah,
Yeah.
throw it on another slicer and just test. Well, everybody's raving, and the one thing about it, I suppose, is it's basically has a ripped off version. It's actually almost a direct rip off of Simplify 3D's manual supports. Um, but as far as overall print quality and everything goes, there's no real fucking difference. I mean, my kid basically spent a whole Saturday morning, trying to win me over with it and everything, and he got some outstanding stellar prints with it for 20 minutes of him screwing around with it. And it's just like, son, you realize how many slicers that I work with right now and how many I'm kind of trying to maintain for everybody and this and that and the other thing. He goes, yeah. And I go, why don't you do it? Okay. So, anyways, he started with, he didn't want to load anybody's profiles or anything like that. He wanted to do it himself. He spent the wife said a half hour, but realistically, I probably figure he probably spent a couple hours on it, and he got just as good a prints as some of the cheerleaders that are throwing their images up on the groups, for goofing around with it. And I just said, I'm not even going to get into this one. I don't have to. I own Simplify 3D. I've got all the other slicers and everything like that, and maybe at some point I'll revisit it. But as soon as my kid's comfortable with his profiles and stuff like that, I'm going to put his up. And I said, you do realize that if there's issues with it and everything like that, I'm going to make you a moderator on my site, and you're going to answer those questions. And he's like, what? This is a 10-year-old, by the way. And if you think I'm an asshole when, you start giving me a hard time or something like that, or just start talking shit, he's just going to, I ain't going to talk to you anymore. And I'm doing my very, very best to keep him from flipping people off. So.
Yeah, like I said, I have a tendency to lean towards a slicer 9 times out of 10 with some of this stuff, because it's like, at first I used to think everything was mechanical, don't get me wrong. But then when I started playing with these printers more and more, there isn't that much to go wrong for the most part, as long as you got everything dialed in. And I know Cornfed's been dialing his printer in, so
Sure.
I'm thinking slicer. That's why I thought, and then I figured it was Idea Maker. I just didn't want to say it.
Well,
But
realistically, take the folks, and this applies to everybody. Take the software option first before you start yanking on
well, yeah,
hardware.
I mean, unless it's something blatantly obvious, like I said, this is repetitive.
What's my lead
So to
screw doing
me,
on the floor? Do you think that'll affect prints?
when I see something repetitive like that, that to me looks like code. I don't know why. Now, when I see it at weird, like random height, yeah, that's going to be mechanical for me. But that's uniformed. It's in and out, uniformed. It
If
isn't like it
if the,
skipped or kept going over and over and over to the side. It uniformly came back and forth. That makes me think that that's not Z banding. That's not mechanical. That's more
how,
something with the slicer.
how big is that? Is that like a 20 inch or a 30 inch? 30 millimeter? That's 30 inch. Sorry, I'm
Yeah,
talking
30 inch.
talking cock sizes, folks. Oh, well,
It's as big as one of my TVs. Yay!
you know,
No, but you're gonna tell me.
I'm gonna no, I'm not. I'm just directing this at him. What firmware do you got on there? Okay, it's not that then.
I know where you're going with it.
No,
Yes, you
I
were. I know you were.
I have had a week and a half as of, and actually I shut that shit down about 3 days ago. I had a week and a half of stepper motor issues and other firmware related issues that didn't even fucking belong to me.
Yep,
And they were all
I've seen it.
Marlin 2. And I just started blanket telling people in my PMs and everything like that, it's your printer, figure it out. And I directed them to my articles on Marlin 2 and leaving it at that, because now, between how many people are actively perusing the Nexus site and the artillery groups, and the fact that artillery went to the TCT Asia show and everything like that. There's a ton of new users, and there's a, I mean, if you couldn't or didn't think that the range of newbiness to expert could get any wider, oh, it has.
Mm. Well, yeah, but the other thing is even with Marlin 2 with the 32-bit boards, I had weird stepper noises at first until they did a Marlin update because there was some issues when that first came out, and I did the SKR boards and I had an issue. I could hear my stepper driver actually making a whining noise
And
because of the way it was being processed through Marlin.
and what I was driving at with regards to firmware and everything like that, a regularity like that um, could be under voltage.
Right.
It's, in other words, it's ramping up and then it's trailing off. It could be getting hot and cooling.
Sorry, just had a laugh at Val's.
That's pretty cool. Well, I've seen a user on the group last couple of days or last few days. Folks, I've been out of it. I got all sorts of shit going on right now. Another user's has his all pulled apart, or is that you that's pulling your printer apart and swapping it all out for regular wires? Whoever it
I
is,
mean,
they look like they're doing a good job with it and everything like that. But man, that's okay. You look like you're doing a good job with it. It just I personally am not ready for that challenge. I mean, everything's working great for me, and even on the test machines or some of the refurbs that I got here and everything like that, I just haven't had it in my heart to do it. So
I mean, I bought the machine because of the ribbon cables. That's
kudos
the reason I bought it.
kudos to you for rising to that challenge and everything like that. And there isn't any reason why the printer wouldn't work phenomenally doing that.
Right.
It just, if I get one that
That
starts if I get one that starts burning cables up and everything like that, I'd probably venture into that, but I haven't had to.
But I mean, I understand guys getting frustrated with it, so don't get me wrong. I bought it because of the ribbon cables, so I try my best to make whatever problem I have go away because I didn't want all the wires all over the place. But I've seen a couple of guys doing the more or less the IDE cable type, the actual round cables instead of the flat ribbon. I've seen a couple of those too, where it's just a plug instead of being
Yeah,
that's actually, I mean, I like that. I wish they'd have did like the plug on the end of a ribbon cable. That way it locked in place and you didn't have to screw around.
I just sold. As a matter of fact, he's coming to pick it up tomorrow. Um, Let me get this pulled up here. La, 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 la. The ribbon cables work phenomenally. I get an old one that actually shows the. Really, guys? I want a fucking image. I don't want your damn website.
Oh, but you must go to website to see because it's also pretty.
There we go. That printer works phenomenally. It's got a ribbon cable, basically the IDE style ribbon cables, and it works fucking phenomenally. I've had that thing cranked up to about 110. Of course, that machine, it's got the same build plate. The D9, anyways, has the same build plate size as the artilleries do, but it's twice as big.
Yeah,
The D or the
the
Sidewinder
base.
looks actually smaller than a Genius sitting next to it.
I mean, if
But
that's what you want to do, it's your printer, and I'm not bagging on you for it. To take the effort and do that, it takes a lot. I mean, it's impressive if you do it right and do it well. I can't complain. It's the guys that do this stuff that don't have clue one of why they're doing it realistically. I mean, you have an actual reason for doing it. This is what you want to do, and you actually have the basis for it. But I've seen guys pull these apart because they think something isn't working right, and it's something they're doing, not the printer itself. So
Or somebody who just got the printer, hasn't taken it out of the box. They've got a Amazon gift card or a AliExpress gift card ready to burn a hole through their pockets, and they're saying, "What do I need to change?" It's like, well, you can make some suggestions, based on our experience and everything like that. But then when they come back at you, it's like, I've also got like 3 boxes of weed whacker spools sitting in my garage. Can I use them in this printer?
right.
Um, no. Well, what's the difference between ABS and PLA? What? What's the difference between ABS and the PLA? Yeah. And, last thing, Mr. Miller, and I'll leave you alone. Do I have to have the printer plugged into the wall outlet, or can I just power it with the USB? And I'd like to try your firmware. Oh, God, look at the time, man. Shit, I got a meeting I got to get to. Don't do that. Go to the groups, go to the forums. There's people that will direct you and
What's up,
also
Mike?
misdirect you. Hey, Mike. Yeah,
Yeah, I think the PCBs are kind of a weak point here and there. I do agree. I do see that as being an issue at times.
well,
Fortunately, I have the version 1 and version 2, so
it's got the
they
locks
weren't
on it.
playing around with it as much as they have recently.
Yeah, I wanted to throw that lamp up and everything and just kind of show it off to everybody there because I've been holding on. There's, I don't know, 7, 8, or 10 different planetary type models out there. The moon is by far the coolest, but I've been wanting to print those for a while and do a set of them, and light them all differently and everything like that. And this kind of inspired me to make a secondary attempt at the white PLA. Yeah, me and I'm gonna blame it on Sun Lu actually, because at the time I ran out of my eSun, which never gives me any grief whatsoever. My last batch of white PLA that I was goofing around with was from Sun Lu, and I threw it out. 2 spools. So this inspired me to want to get in there and actually print this thing up. That's just awesome. There's a software. I'm going to be featuring it on the Nexus here, and I'm trying to get the writer of a piece of software called Luban to show up. He's got some awesome software that does just all sorts of amazing shit with files for creating variations on models and things like that, including doing lithopanes and stuff. So there was that. Oh yeah, I figured, what the hell, I just kind of show off a little bit here. The
No.
my kid my kid heard me and the wife talking a few days back about having to go through and make a light for the paint portion of the studio. Basically an overhead that has the capabilities of doing the bright, super bright, burn your eyes out white light, as well as color variations, because when the lights are off and everything like that, I like the room to look cool. Anyways, he designed this lamp, and let's see if I can get this pulled up here. I think I got it here. Yeah. Yeah, he just loaded up 3D Builder, and he took some measurements and shit like that, and he made a printable light fixture that basically can be printed on any printer, and then you just run the LED strips, the ones that you can get, multicolor, yada yada, cut them to size and whatever. He just went ahead and put all that together for me, and he shot me the STL for it. And he's like, "Hey, Dad, try this out." And I looked it over, and it was like, "Cool, I don't have to do it." No complaints out of me there. And it came out really nice. It looked really cool. So,
Yeah, that's good.
hey, for a 10-year-old, man.
I don't underestimate youngins.
Well, aside from the fact that he's only 10 and everything like that, and he's not on Facebook, I don't want him on Facebook.
Can't say I blame you.
Well, I'm an asshole as it is, but I'm not a vile, toxic asshole.
Get your mouse off my screen, man.
I was wondering when you were going to notice that.
I've been noticing it. It's just I'm waiting.
Well, I was waiting for you to say something. Didn't you see me grinning?
Yeah, I saw you grinning.
Yeah. Anyways. Oh. Since there's a number of people showing up, let me get this pulled up. It should be going active here pretty soon. I probably got to put it on a different screen here. Flipped my monitors. Now instead of going left to right, I got to go right to left. Bitches.
The joys of a new video card.
I'm not complaining. I can't. There we go. You're hiding temporarily.
That's fine.
Yeah, you guys will notice. Bum, bum, bum. I brought this up a little while back. You guys, regular users, can't see it just yet. It's only for me right now because I've been testing it and kind of finalizing it. But this is the marketplace that I've been promising you guys. This is basically a buy, sell, trade, swap, and in the future, a auction house for you guys to work with. It's not for resellers. It's not for stores or anything like that. It's just for users to hook up, trade stuff, sell stuff, and swap stuff back and forth. But just, for an example, it's really simple. I've got everything coded even for the auctions and stuff like that. But for the most part, let me get this pulled up here. Dun, dun, dun.
So you're going to be Printer Bay. Sorry.
Well, the thing about it is I'm not getting anything out of it. Any sales or anything like that. That's all handled by you guys. I have nothing to do with it. It's all between you guys. The contact the advertiser. It's designed to allow people within registered users, by the way, to communicate in the site. Hey, Grump. This is just a thing.
Yeah, Grump, I need that file, bro.
There was just a thing that some people were asking for before. I have the ability to code the shit into it, so I went ahead and did that, and it's going to be real simple to do that. There's going to be some things in here that show up for me that won't show up for other people, but for the most part, you guys can even, set shit for free, trade. You can specify length, descriptions, video for it, negotiating price, and there's some other features that are going to be in there, but it's all in a interface that you guys can pretty much figure out. And the cool thing about it is, unlike places like eBay or some of these other types of sites, I don't handle any financial transactions. That's all between, say, for example, you and the person you're selling and talking with. I'm writing in Link is on Discord by the pics. I don't know if you saw that or not, Taz.
Yeah, I saw it. I just didn't want to interrupt you. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead. But
I just
anyways, like I
remember
said,
seeing it.
the marketplace is up. Suggestions are always welcome for categories.
What is there? My dumbass.
There's just a few categories up right now. I want to keep it and maintain it along the lines of 3D printers, modeling, painting, stuff like that. We're not going to get into selling, swapping grandma's 65 Ford Mustang. Although, if you do have a 65 Mustang that belonged to grandma and it's been sitting in a garage for the last 25 years, you can contact me. So, yeah. But anyways, it's almost done. I'm just prettying up some stuff. I will have it actually active probably by Friday for everybody to
Man, I had
use.
some swampland in Florida. I can't sell it. Shit.
So on, so on and so forth. Let me get out of here now and get back to our main screen.
It's a 63 Corvette that runs. You're calling me first.
I have a little bit of trouble with the legroom in a Corvette. Now I'm only 5'5", all right, but I actually got to have a little bit of space underneath.
Are you really
Because
5'5"?
yeah,
I'm actually taller than you. I didn't realize that.
most humans are taller than I am.
Yes.
Now, I can actually get an extra couple of inches out if I lift both of my legs and my arms.
So are you 5'5.5" then?
It
Because my
depends.
wife's 5'3" and she always got to put that extra half in there stuff for some reason.
No, I just say 5'5", 5'6", and people say, is that an exact measurement? And I say, well, it depends on if my pants are up or down.
I mean, I'm 5'8", but I mean, I'm no giant, so.
Oh, dibs on the paint booth? Yeah, Grumpy, if I'm gonna. Yeah, those are actual really a couple of items that I'm really getting rid of and everything like that. And if you're interested in it, just shoot me a message and we'll talk about it. I just needed to get some of the items that I have up to show people examples of what they can do, as well as maybe get rid of some of the stuff I got laying around here too.
Shorties.
This is not a kid-friendly channel, so there's a little ditty that I could recite, but I don't get drunk anyway, so I was just going to say I'm not drunk enough to recite it, and I'm not in a bad enough mood to recite it, so let's just say there's a really cool ditty poem out there about dwarves and tall people with regards to women. So, where are we? Hey, artillery news. There ain't none. A little bit, maybe. Artillery has been in process of moving and putting together a new set of offices. That's coming together. It was mentioned that sometime this week or early next week they're going to be moving in. The thing that kind of interested me and made me raise my eyebrows a little bit was they have to give it a couple of days to air out formaldehyde. As a person who's familiar with the building trades and things like that, whenever you're using certain types of building materials like that shit chipboard, particle board and things like that they're swapping out for real plywood paneling, that they're putting in buildings for the last 15-20 years now. That stuff, earlier versions of that, and I don't know if it's the same, because I won't go near the shit. That stuff off gases formaldehyde.
Yep.
New carpeting used to. I don't know if it still does. I'm a wood floor or stone floor type of guy. I can't stand carpeting. You know, throw rugs, antique Persian rugs and things like that. I'm all over that sort of stuff, but I can pick that shit up, take it outside, and clean it off, as opposed to having a installed rug or carpet in my house that is growing all sorts of creepy crawlies underneath it. So, oh, I just got a ping. I will be right back. It's about that
All
time.
right, Val, why don't you drink gin anymore? I'll bite.
I'm going to hang around just for that. Teleportation elixir. You wake up 3 hours away from where you started in a Waffle House without pants.
Der Waffle House. You have to be specific.
I don't know. I've been caving in places in Georgia and southern Tennessee and places like that, and a couple places in the Carolinas where I don't think it really mattered what kind of alcohol it was. People ended up without pants in the morning.
A little bit of moonshine. Gotta get you woken right
It,
up that
it,
way.
is it gin that's made from potatoes, or is that vodka?
Um, I think gin's made from potatoes. Vodka is oh, my brain's not working
Russian
tonight.
armpit sweat.
Yes, that's it.
Juniper berries. I knew there was something freaky in there. Anyways, I'll be right back.
I don't do that stuff anymore because I don't like waking up where I don't remember how I got there. It scares the hell out of me. Those youngin' days are long gone. I don't like waking up trying to figure out why I hurt so damn bad. So gin is made from pine saw. Oh, I don't know. All I know is there's a bourbon place out by my daughter's college, and unfortunately, with this COVID-19 stuff, I haven't been able to make it back out there and get my bottle that I normally pick up because they have a distillery out there, and I really enjoy going there. They do tours too, and it's one of the few places in Illinois they can really say they make bourbon. So well, I remember many a night doing a Three Wise Men in the bar. Jim, Jack, and Joe. How's your print looking, cornfed? You sell booze. You can ship a case to my house. I'm okay. First one came unstuck. That's not good. Yeah, Jose Cuervo. I don't know. I think one of the few things. I mean, I like using mixed drinks more than I do, or even straight. like vodka, or I think beer makes me ill. I don't know why. I like the taste of beer, but not in large amounts. I can drink almost anything else. Yes, the name corn fed, or it could be from like Iowa or Southern Illinois too. I mean, or even Indiana. There's more than just corn in Indiana. Yeah, I don't know. I think like his little trip with getting sick on Jose Cuervo. I think I got sick one time on drinking a bunch of beer because we used to get the Stroh's 30 packs because you got more, right? When we were younger. I know I'm showing my age, but I know I got deathly ill on that stuff, and it was a nasty beer anyways. But ever since then, it's like I can maybe have like two. And it's like, okay, now I need to switch to something a little bit more easier on my stomach.
Back when I was a teenager, I did the whole round of anything and everything.
Oh
And
yeah.
tequila just never sat well with me. It left an aftertaste that I couldn't quite put my finger on. And I was, you can call this unfortunate. Other people say, oh, God, that's fucking awesome. I wish I could have it that way. I was never able, no matter how drunk I got, I was never able to throw up. Throwing up just was not in my genetic makeup. And this also, I don't know, maybe trauma as a kid. I got sick once, food poisoning when I was a young kid and everything like that. And I spent like 3 days puking straight. And that was the last time in my life I puked.
Just put your camera back up and don't puke.
I'm not quite there yet. I've got my remote mic with me. I'm carrying it
Oh,
around
okay.
right now.
Oh, now you get a remote mic.
Yep.
Wow. I'm feeling left out here now.
Well, anyways, and funny enough, the only tequila that I enjoyed was somebody sent me a bottle. Now, I don't drink it all now. I mean, just once in a great while. I have like Baron Jogger or Jack Daniel's Honey. Because I primarily, if I'm going to drink anything, I like drinking, mead and stuff like that. I used to brew beer and shit too, and mead. I used to make all sorts of alcohol and stuff like that, but I never got into drinking it. I kind of quit when I was around 20 years old and just never went back to it. Yeah, well, anyways, just for whatever reason, and tequila, okay, I wanted to vomit. I tried that whole, stick your finger down your throat, out with a bunch of buddies and shit like that. It's like, well, if your finger won't work here, try this tire iron. You know, it's like, dude, it ain't. There's nothing coming out. It ain't coming out. It's like, are you a sword swallower or something, dude? Don't look at me like that. Yeah. No, that's not in my genetic makeup either, Val. I've heard some people out there swear by it, but ain't gonna happen. And funny enough, I'm gonna point out, and you're not the first person that has said that to me, and the
Left
second
it
person
alone.
that said this. The other main person in my life that has said that was my wife, but that was under different circumstances. Syrup of, okay, I may be pronouncing
Ipecac?
Ipecac.
Yeah.
I have even tried that, and it was just like, this stuff actually tastes better than that tequila I drank.
Oh, this stuff's rough.
Well, and finally, back when Sammy Hagar first started producing his Cabo Wabo tequila, somebody sent me a bottle of that stuff, and that stuff was actually pretty good, in small amounts. But still, a couple hours later, that weird, strange aftertaste came back, and it's just like, man, this stuff just ain't for me.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of those weird. It's like you get that memory sick thing. I don't know how to explain it. Something that's got you deathly ill, where you don't feel good. You never want to have again. I remember, God, years ago. What the hell? I ate like a bologna sandwich and got sicker than a dog. And for years, I couldn't eat bologna after that. Just something. It's like you get that memory. It's like, nope. Even the smell of it was like, nope.
I just saw a video the other day. I don't do cat videos, okay,
Oh, that
but
was pretty cool.
once in a while they come up
Like a
on.
Chinese delight. That's pretty neat.
Somebody put something on Discord.
Yeah,
Here, me get it over here.
yeah. Big Paws, Big Prince put something up. It's actually kind of neat. I like it. Yeah.
That's something strange too. I I've smelled some pretty rank shit in my life. I'm sure other people have and everything like that. So we don't have to get into a dirty jobs thing or anything like that. But um, there are people out there that, if anything they smell bad is going to make them puke. And then there's other people. It's like morticians or what are the medical examiners that show up after somebody finds a dead body or a homicide or something like that. Coroners.
Yep.
My
Oh,
sister.
I can be around all kinds of dead bodies. It doesn't bother me a bit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, my sister dated a coroner for a little while, and this guy, he'd come in stinking like dead bodies, if that's such a thing, and everything like that. And half of my house would just start bending over, vomiting, and I mean, it's not a pleasant thing, but just like I said, man, puking's not in my genetic makeup or whatever, and I really wish it was sometimes because I've drank and ate some stuff that I probably would have been much better off and suffered a lot less if I would have been
It
able
can be
to.
such an interesting stream.
Hey, why not? Hey, we can do anything we want. This is a daily. This isn't a weekend
Uh,
topic stream, so we can go anywhere with it if we
I'm
want
just
to.
saying, it's gonna be like, what are these idiots talking about, man?
Artillery printers, yeah.
Yes, that's what we're talking about. That and vomit.
Yep. Well, hey, speaking of which, I've been printing a few things on the resin side of stuff and everything like that, but some of it's all proprietary stuff that you guys can't see right now, anyways. But I'm also going to be printing some models up that are highlighted and featured in some of the showcases on the Nexus website and everything like that. And the ones that I'm able to, I'm going to be doing some giveaways for the stuff. So I don't know how many of them I'll do or anything like that, but I just thought that there's some pretty cool models out there that for some of you people that don't have resin printers would really like to have and maybe play with. Um, we're still transitioning people over to getting them turned on to resin printing and airbrushing and painting and all this other type of modeling goodness. Um, I did want to point out that does bring up another subject. And let me see if I can get this up here. La la la. Get us off the screen there so you guys don't see my monkey porn. And shit, I gotta remember what the name.
Oof. That doesn't sound like a fun place to work.
Showering a deodorant.
They're the ones that believe that you put more stink water on and it makes it better, and it just makes it like worse. Those are my favorite. It's
Yep.
like, yeah, you should just try soap and water. Forget the whole cologne thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to get this out there because I just came across this last week too. Um, this yeah, for those of you that are familiar with Patreon, Patreon is Patreon. It is what it is. This group right here, it's called Loot Studios. Um, they've actually got. They just started doing their gig here, and let me show some of this.
As my mama would say, the Gotts family moved away. They don't got anything. They have a lot.
I haven't found a whole lot of really good undead out there for models and stuff like that. And these guys are fitting the bill, and they're just getting started with this stuff. So um, for me, it was worth it. They're set up just like Patreon. They got some really really good detail in their models. And the thing that actually drew me to this, me and the wife got a soft spot for Lord of the Rings. Long story behind that. But anyways, for those of you that are familiar with Lord of the Rings and have watched the trilogies, you'll probably recognize this presentation of a model right there. So, and your other standard good stuff. Everybody needs a pig with a fork stuck in it. So, I'm waiting on some word back from them. See if I can get permission to print some of the models up and give the models away for some giveaways here, since they're kind of unique. So, let me get us back to our regular scheduled screen here. Yes, exactly, Big Prince Strider. For those new to the stream or haven't had a chance to bounce around the Nexus at all, I might as well plug this since I got it kind of up on the screen anyways. Go back to this.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Yep. On the Nexus, we've got some artist showcases, which I've got a number of these new ones, including Loot Studios that I just showed you, as well as a few other ones that I'm adding to this selection right here. Um, this is going to fill up over time because I've got a substantial amount of Patreons that I work with. Um, you just can't go wrong if you're into modeling and stuff like that, and it's not all fantasy or D&D type style stuff. For example, Megs, he's a buddy in the Philippines. Um, the type of work that this guy does is just freaking phenomenal. There's a lot of Marvel and DC stuff that he does that is just crazy. Uh, he's a younger guy too, so um, on the Nexus website, there's some small, kind of hand-picked galleries of some of the work that these guys do. But you can also click on them, and it'll actually take you right to their Patreon. If they have a Facebook or ArtStation or website or whatever, it'll allow you to go to them and whatever. There's no affiliate nature here or anything like that. These are just direct links for you guys to find some really cool shit. And if you guys, thanks, Big. If you guys come across, I mean, you can kind of get a feel for the stuff that I'm into. A lot of the stuff I'm into is more, fantasy, D&D type stuff and everything like that. If you guys come across some really cool stuff, shoot them my, shoot them my way. I'm always looking for more stuff to feature. And it's already I'm already at a point where I've got so many models now. I'm never going to be able to print them all. I'm never going to be able to paint them all, but I'm gonna fucking try. that's that's the best way I can put it. Um, Go to Raging Heroes real quick here. This is one of the newer ones right here that just blew me away. I hadn't got in on any of these for a while, and the amount of detail that we can now get with our resin printers is just out there. Shit. Let me get one of these guys up here. There's also someone had mentioned in a previous stream. God, I gotta quit looking at double screens right here. Let's see. Let me go back to Titan Forge. Titan Forge. It's been a while since I came across Asian models that really actually interested me. And these guys got a whole range of really cool stuff. But I think I went too far to show off some of the Asian stuff that's in here. There we go.
Your wife's cutting you off for supporting Patreon,
Townsmith. Yeah, if you guys could pop in the Discord, if you guys have a link for. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not. Yeah, Discord will actually allow the links. If you guys got a link or a brand name for suggested companies to look at and everything like that, drop them in Discord. I'd like to say I remember, and it's going to be forever. I'm also a fan of dwarves too. Yeah, like I said, their Asian stuff is just phenomenal. And folks, you can't get if you're into really high detail painting and stuff like that, you can't get that with FDM. That's just the nature of the beast there. And big, if resin printing, if it's just the messiness and everything like that that's scaring you, um, it doesn't have to be messy. Um, Depending on where I've been over the last 5, 6, 7 years, I've been in environments that had very highly sensitive people, whether it be asthma type or skin sensitivity and stuff like that. And I got used to working around that stuff. It's only messy if you make it messy. If you look at anybody's print room and everything like that, you can kind of tell if they're going to be messy with it or not. It's just like being a jeweler and being a sculptor and everything like that. I'm kind of used to uh, working with stuff that you don't want contamination. You don't want to cross the streams, if you will, in some of this stuff. I got used to doing that, but don't let it scare you because man, there's a whole cool world of stuff that you can get into doing. You know,
yeah, because I was initially afraid of that too, and honestly, it's not that bad now. I mean, I got a system down,
be right back.
so I more or less have a small Tupperware bowl full of whatever simple green or whatever it is. Um, I do my printing. I'll take it off the plate on over like a nice. I got like a rubber mat, like a silicone mat so it doesn't get like messed up. And then I got some paper towels. I'll take it off there, put it in the Tupperware bowl, put the lid on it, slosh it around a bit, and then I'll do my cleanup. I brush it off, whatever I need to do. I just take the container over to the slop sink, get off all my supports, throw those in the garbage, and then rinse them clean. And it's not that bad. It's not really bad at all. I mean, I thought from watching some of the videos and stuff that it'd be a lot worse, and it's really not. It's actually pretty relatively clean. I mean, there's a few things you're gonna need. Obviously, you're gonna need something to cure it with. So I actually we in fact Earl printed up one too. We printed up curing stations. I just lined those with some vinyl that was reflective, and then got one of those 550-watt lights or whatever they are for like $25. That was done. But yeah, that, and I got the silicone mats like for the dog dishes because it has a ridge on it. Those are the best things to get ever. So if you do have a spill or something, I've had one spill, and it was just me being in a hurry. So because I pour my unused resin back into the vat, so or rather from the vat into the bottle, I pour it back. So I use the little painter strainer and a funnel and pour it back. Well, one time I was in a hurry and decided to flip it without the funnel and it messed it up big time. So that was my own mistake. But other than that, it's been relatively clean. I mean, I think I was initially really, really conscientious of it at first and worried, and it wasn't that big of a deal. I've got two bins. One's the simple green, and the other one's just basic water because isopropyl alcohol right now is hard to get. I'd rather do it that way, but I don't have any, so it's too expensive at the moment. So I'm going to wait. But the simple green works. I'll rinse it off, and then I have a clear water bath that I rinse them out in. Like I usually get the water hot because it seems like it does a better job, and it's done. There's no big deal. Towel dry them off, and then cure them, and you're good. It was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. And I've been playing around with some of the resin stuff, like colors, like this guy here. See-through red. I mean, the detail on that is just awesome. I almost don't want to paint the white that belongs on here, but the red on the inside with like a red skull, almost like it's I don't know. The detail is awesome on it, and like some of the figurines that you get. I mean, the detail on her is phenomenal. I mean, even like the backpack and her gear. Let's see if I can get a better focus on it. But yeah, I mean, even like the tie in her hair is like really nice. I mean, even down to like, her shoes with the bootstraps. You can't get that kind of. It's phenomenal how excellent. I can't wait for my Saturn to get here. I tell you that much. I can do a little bit bigger because I like the bigger prints myself. But in fact, I made like a for my wall to keep my switches from getting turned on all the time because the kids once in a while hit the wrong switch. So I made like a detonator switch for the switch plate to keep it covered, so I can keep it shut off. This. I mean, red obviously tells them no.
M3 screws, Amazon, man.
Yep. I usually get them ordered off of Amazon, and you can get the various sizes in a kit for like like $10. You can get a large amount, like I want to say like 500 to 1,000 for around 10-15 bucks. Then they have the different heads on them as well. Probably the best place you'd want to get them because it's going to be the cheapest. Because trying to find them when you go into Home Depot and places like that is a pain. It really is. Yeah, I actually did the the Death Trooper in glow in the dark, and that turned out really nice. I don't have it nearby where I could grab it, but I did that in glow in the dark filament. So, and then I painted the outside like a normal white helmet, but I made it all obviously like it was battered and beaten because it was the Death Trooper. And then when you shine the light through it, he glows like green on the inside, almost like he got hit by like radiation. It's really cool. I wish you'd stop doing that with the mouse.
Sorry. Trying to prepare content. Well, if you guys are into glowy in the painting world, it's called object source lighting. There's some pretty rockin' tutorials out there on YouTube. I've actually got a number of them linked at the video libraries on the Nexus website. If you start learning the concepts behind that and everything like that, you can make shit glow without having shit glow, if that makes any sense.
It makes sense. I'm trying to figure out. Are you talking about you don't need a light source for it to glow, or are you talking about that
Correct.
it'll glow once you hit it with a light source?
No, you don't need a light. It's object source lighting is painting. Let me see if I can get an example up for you guys.
I mean, I think you showed us something a while back where the guy did it. I couldn't remember if you needed a light to make it illuminate or if it was just illuminated on its own.
I did show off something where a guy used glow in the dark paint. He kind of hid it in his model, and the stuff didn't show up until the lights went out. But object source lighting is.
Because I'm a little slow at this, you got to guide me.
No, it's all right.
The whole painting thing, I'm just enough to get myself in trouble with, or at least back myself into a corner.
I probably got it in the color theory. Hopefully, that's where I cataloged it. It's probably in the advanced. Well, a really good example is right here. Let me get this guy pulled up. Let me shut the sound off for you guys so you don't get blasted with it. But let me get this pulled up so I know there's something in here that I can explain for you anyways. Kenny, where are you? Where are you, man? All right. You can actually see right there. I mean, it looks like there's lights all over this thing, and that's just painting effect. It's really not difficult to figure out. It takes a little while to master, but that's where an airbrush comes in. You can do it. Don't get me wrong. You can do it with a brush, but it's so much easier with an airbrush. And I guess the sooner that you pick up an airbrush, the sooner you'll be more confident with doing things that you never would have thought were possible with a regular brush, if that makes any sense.
I'm still dragging my feet on that one.
Well, I'm trying, and hopefully pretty soon, now that I got some of this other shit happening the way it's supposed to, busting my ass for the last couple of weeks trying to get this stuff going. Yeah, that's mine going. Oh. Yeah, see, that's object source lighting with a light. But a good example of that right there actually is okay. You know, the blue lighting effect on that and everything like that, you can paint that. It's not that hard. That's pretty cool, Grump. Let me see what we got going on here. Shit. Met her outside of a bar once. Outdoor lantern. Oh, cool. Big thanks for putting the link up in the Discord for that lantern. I was going to ask you about that, and I get sidetracked very easy. Taz will confirm that probably multiple times.
Yeah, I already downloaded it.
Yeah.
So thank you. I already downloaded it.
I can be back on camera in a second here. I just got to travel one more time.
Yeah, I did like I said, I did a giant Death Trooper with the and it was a big one too. Turned out great with that glow in the dark filament. It just turned out wicked. I got it in my front room as a light, so.
Yeah, that time to interject for those of you new to the stream, if you're new watching, like, subscribe, follow the channel. You'll get some updates when I say this over the last couple of weeks. I've been saying this practically every stream that I'm going to be getting back on a regular schedule and everything. So I'm not going to say that tonight. And hopefully that really will mean that we'll be back on our regular Monday, Wednesday, and Friday schedule. It's a lot of stuff going on. Setting up schedules for the different types of shows and stuff like that too. Get this pulled up. There we go. And so I can do some overhead tutorials and stuff like that for you guys. And the cam upgrades and everything like that are going to allow me to do some stuff better without having to get up out of the chairs all the time and shit. And that's kind of wearing thin on me. I'd rather plunk my ass down in a chair and not have to leave for the whole time.
You're just soaking that in simple green? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I'm just asking.
Yep, I threw that in there before I realized that it was almost time to stream and everything like that. It's not going to hurt it. You can almost store your airbrushes exclusively in a simple green solution to keep them wet. You just gotta, again, before you start brushing, before you start working with them and stuff like that, you just gotta make sure you clean them up a little bit and blow them out.
Very cool.
Yeah, simple green and the good old hops number 9 sitting right next to that. That's the secondary part of that. Grumpy, yes, it is sitting in simple green.
That's the first question I asked. Look at that simple green.
Yep. Yeah, if you.
Well, I mean, I got gallons of that because that's all I can use to clean darn models that I got off of the resin printer. Because it's just too freaking expensive right now.
The 2 products that you want to have for your airbrush, or 3. That will guarantee some success for you is going to be Simple Green, Hops number 9, and Vallejo Flow Improver. Don't fuck around with paint thinners. Don't fuck around with any of the other thinners or airbrush cleaners or anything like that. Unless, all right, I work primarily with water-based, acrylics. I will not, under any circumstances, use lacquers or any of that other stuff with my airbrushes. They're too expensive for that. Because even for as long as I have done it, I have had situations where I forgot, or I just wasn't fast enough, or got sidetracked and pulled away. You do not want to try to fix an airbrush that has caked up lacquer or enamel paint or oil-based paints in it. It's just not worth your time. You know, if you're going to get into doing that stuff, get a different airbrush and keep your water-based and or acrylic brushes separate from your oil-based ones. You can thank me later or not. And I know somebody's probably going to ask because not everybody knows exactly what that stuff is. Hang on.
Yeah, it's a gun cleaner. Yep, been using it for years. I mean, what is an airbrush but a gun?
Excuse me. Hops number 9 is used for cleaning and maintaining your firearms.
Yep. We were just discussing that.
Okay, sorry.
I said it's an air gun, right? So it's a gun. Ops number 9.
Well, you know, the thing that I airbrushed for a while, for a number of years. I got out of it, and between maybe 2008, 2009, and 2014, 2015, I put it away. I hadn't touched it. Figured I'd jump back in and see what's kind of new. And I came across about a year or so after that another channel that literally made me cry. He's featured in a lot of the videos in the libraries on the Nexus site and everything. It's Kenny Boucher. He's out in California. His channel is Next Level Painting. He's basically, you know, divulging all of the hints, tricks, and tips that a lot of the airbrush artists coveted and, you know, kept hidden from the rest of the world for a long time, but also too him and other people over the last so many years or whatever have tried and worked some things out that just work so much better and make, you know, our lives so much easier. Because prior to say, you know, the early to mid 2000s and everything like that, we didn't have a whole lot of really cool options, and the airbrushes weren't as good as they are now either. Yeah, you get hopped up on hops number 9. That's why all of us gun fanatics and everything like that enjoy the shit out of our hobby when it comes to that side of things.
It was always bad when you're on the underground range and having to do your cleaning. It was like, ooh, some ventilation in here.
I do a whole other side to some of the stuff I do. I've been a traditional archery person as well as black powder my whole life. So mix some hops with the good old black powder. What's that comedian Chappelle? You know, the Chappelle meme with the whole white around his lips and everything like that.
Yeah.
Somebody who's into black powder and crap like that, it's, you know, it's all black and crap around the lips and under the nose, and looks like a Three Stooges outtake and everything like that. That sat in front of a car exhaust or something. Yeah, there's nothing like the smell of black powder in the morning, or napalm.
This cornfed came up with his cube.
Oh, on Discord?
Yeah, it's not as dramatic now, but we're still getting a few lines. And
Yeah, let me swap this over to the big one. Bum, 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 bum.
yeah, but it's not as dramatic as it was with the other slicer. I mean, obviously you're highlighting it with the way you get the lighting. So
Well, in that particular case, being that they're not the same, but yet the problem is still present, that is kind of leading a little bit more towards mechanical now.
right, I'd agree. I concur. I'm just trying to think of what would that. The only other thing I could think of would be extrusion. Like your multipliers off, because it's not like it's both directions. It isn't like one direction or the other. So you're not talking an axis problem from what I can see.
Um, and you say that's Sun Lu, right? Or eSun, PLA Plus. That stuff usually gives anybody the least amount of grief, when it comes to filaments and things like that. So I'm not gonna blame it on the filament. Yeah, I was kind of wondering about belts, maybe.
But even then, I mean, both his directions on his belts.
Yeah, the bottom is what's
It
kind of freaking me out a little bit
Well, he
because
had it pop loose too, so that's a different issue. He said it came loose during his printing, so I'm gonna say that just happens to be from losing bed adhesion.
oh yeah, okay.
So I'm just gonna ignore that bottom section because I'm assuming that's from like getting popped off the plate to some degree. But the other banding is on both axes, which could you have two loose belts? Yeah, I'm sure you could. I mean, have you had any recent humidity where it's like maybe allowed the belt to kind of like get stretchy?
Nebraska's.
Right, I know it's humid. I'm just saying, has it all of a sudden switched? Because I know I've had trouble where, like, because I live in Illinois, so we get mood swings in weather. Give it 5 minutes. So when that happens, it's like my leveling goes off. My belts get loose. If I don't keep an eye on it, like today was perfect out today. This evening, storming. God knows why, but and then the humidity shot up in the middle of the storm. So
just for the just for the rat's ass of it all and everything like that, you got some other filament that you can try? Like I said, I try all the easy things first. Um,
yeah, before I start delving into the printer, is the only thing because I just hate tearing apart a printer then you start getting in deeper.
just it's not going to hurt corn fed. It's not going to hurt anything. Leaving the same filament and everything like that, just for the hell of it, drop it down to 200. See what happens. See if it becomes less pronounced.
Because it's looking better.
The reason I say that is if the bed temperature, as long as you're
I'd say
sure.
60. I'd just leave it at 60. That should
I
be fine.
I'm at 60 all the time, but that's
Right.
you guys know the bed surfaces that I use, so I never have to change that stuff. Um,
I mean, 60, 65, just for shits and giggles.
the reason I'm saying is if it becomes even less pronounced with the same slicer settings and everything like that, something to look at might be your filament tension. Surprisingly enough, that little shit knob at the back of the back of the extruder can cause some of the most ugly under or over extrusion issues out there. More often than not, it's under extrusion, but oh yeah, cornfed. Are your filament spools on the printer? Shit, I'm sorry. I'm completely sorry. That blew past me, and I didn't even realize. Oh, as you'll see in all of the images, and it's not just the lab cam that you're looking at. Every printer in this joint does not have any filament mounted on the printer. I got away from that because a couple of times, and it wasn't just the artilleries, I seen very subtle variations on what you're experiencing, but they were, subtle. The filament sensor was creating at times just enough drag to cause that periodically from time to time, and they seemed to go away the smaller the spool got. Okay. Yeah, if you have a way to, coat hanger, whatever, you got a neighbor, that doesn't have anything better to do or anything like that, just have them stand there and hold the filament up off of the printer, during a print. If you got a way to try that, you might be surprised. I hardly ever mention that because I don't have to
Yeah,
rule it out.
I bypass that sensor all the fucking time. I hate that thing. It's in
Yeah,
the worst spot ever.
yeah, you'll see. I also don't run any of the sensors on my stuff too.
I always pull that off. It's like, forget it.
Yeah, those are. I mentioned earlier in the stream, my son designed a printable LED fixture for me to use over in the paint side of my studio, and his design works really good and everything like that. But I wanted to print some additional vanity colors for it. I printed it in black and the fluorescent green. And it's like, well, I'm going to make some vanity strips to put on it and everything like that. And it's like, I'm all done with the production printing I was doing today and everything like that. So it's like, well, I'll throw that stuff on it. But that's printing all the way across the bed. No glue stick, no nothing. I
Well, I
could,
finally get that stupid print done that I was fighting with.
that TPU stuff?
No, I wasn't fighting with TPU.
No,
Hold on. I'll show you.
yeah, yeah. Cornfed, you don't even have to put a piece of filament in it. Because the printer's shaking, there have been some people that had those sensors kind of ever so slightly turn on and turn off. You can just unplug it. You don't even you can just disconnect it and
Yeah, register.
yeah. Yep. And the belts above the belt above that goes across, for the two Z motors, those aren't meant to be rock solid tight. Those are
Yeah,
meant to be. Those are meant to
loose.
have a little bit of looser than you would normally expect your other belts to be. Those are meant to kind of be loose.
Yeah, they're meant to have a little bit of play. This guy here, remember this one?
Oh, thanks for the follow there, Bankle, Banky. Okay, sorry, I was looking at the wrong screen right there. I should have just looked at my chat. Oh yeah, that one. Dude, that made me when you showed me the print that you were doing. Thanks.
I got pretty far with it, like going like this. I did. I mean, it got really, really tall, but this is 360. This is some kind of order I got. I think it's for a guy's filtering system. but I don't know why they sent it to me because it's like this is 360. My bed's 300.
You still wouldn't have enough if you did it angled.
That's how I had to do it. I did it this way
And it just
on this
fit.
kind of angle.
It just
It
fit, right?
just fit. But what I had to do is I had to make special. I had to make my own
Supports.
supports. Yeah, so
Yeah.
my brain's fried for a minute there.
Yeah.
But this is like 3 days of hell trying to get this. And I was like, and the guy's pressuring me. He wants it by like he wants it like yesterday. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
you realize I can't print this fast.
Folks, the print that he showed me the other day, the picture he sent me, the thing was, what was it, about 4/5 of the way done? It didn't have much to go, and it made me cry.
It was
Okay,
great though. I
because
mean, I was actually going up like this, literally, with just bed support. I mean, it was perfect. It just finally got to like this point. I don't know. Let me see you on the screen. I gotta see my camera. Like, you finally got to like this point, and it was still getting too wobbly. Finally,
I just when I seen that, I was just like, oh shit, so close. It's like,
it was good. I mean, I thought I had it, and then I was like, okay, well, I'll actually lay it. I was gonna lay it this way, but it doesn't fit the damn bed. So I'm like, okay, now I got to do it this way, from corner to corner, which takes a long damn time to print. And I was sweating it at the end too because it was getting a little wobbly at the end. I was like, ooh.
It's funny. I sent the picture that I showed off earlier in the show off section there. Where is it? I sent Tracy a shot of the light fixture that I did or that my kid did, and I was printing up and everything. And she asked me, she goes, how are the way I interpreted it at start was she was asking me how I was printing it across both printers.
Yeah.
And it put me in mind to actually do a video. Yeah, I can do some shit with Photoshop and some video editing and things like that. And I was just tempted to make a video of dual printing on two printers at the same time, just to see how long it takes somebody to figure out that there's no way to span the gap between the two. So, but anyways, yeah, I got to finish assembling that and everything. I'll have that all set up later, I suppose.
So, are you using an all metal heat break, Banky? Is my first question. Okay. What's your retraction at? Number one. All right. I'm going to tell you to drop it down to like 0.68 at 25 millimeters a second. That's number one.
Actually, 0.685. But
Okay.
yeah. I'll be right back again.
So, and the second thing I'm going to tell you is that.
Oh, dude, Banky, I was messing with
0.68.
Taz. Yeah, I was just messing with Taz. Sorry,
0.85. He's being a smart ass.
sorry about that. You got to get used to that with us. We fuck around a little bit from time
He
to
likes to
time.
jerk my chain. Oh, yeah. So 0.68 at 25 millimeters a second. Reason being is you have a direct drive. You don't want to pull out of that melt zone any further than you need to. Did you actually? I hate to say it, but did you actually season it at all? I mean, did you run any oil through it when you first installed it? You're gonna get a bunch of people telling you that you don't need to, but you need to. It's like seasoning a pan. If you get a cast iron pan, you have to season it, which means you heat it up with oil. Yes, oil. I know it sounds weird. Something like vegetable based, like canola or even olive, if you, it's whatever. And I mean, something like canola or whatever. So just 2 drops, nothing major. Take 2 drops and run it through your fingers on the filament and run it through. All metal likes to grab, especially being all metal, it likes to grab PLA really well.
Until it gets worn in, yeah.
It gets really sticky. So a little bit of oil goes a long way. Now, I personally run an oiler on my setup. Let me grab what, because I think Cornfed actually posted it, but let me grab the one I use. Yeah, nothing petroleum based. Yeah, you don't want nothing like petroleum based. But so what I actually run continuously on my printers, because they're both all metal, I it actually sits on a tension lever, and just above has a little sponge on the inside, and I'll put 2 drops every 5 to 6 hours of print time. That's it. Nothing more. Don't drench it. Don't get it all crazy lubed up. You don't need to do that. But just a little touch of oil goes a long way. I haven't had, knock on wood, any major clogs since I've done this. And it has reduced my stringing a lot as well. Like I said, there'll be a bunch of guys that tell you, oh, you shouldn't need it, or I get it, but you know what? It doesn't hurt it. Your filament's actually made with a vegetable based oil. So it's not going to reduce the quality of your print. It's not going to screw it. I mean, obviously, if you drench it, it's going to mess up a bunch of stuff. That's why I said the maximum, like 2 drops, just enough to get onto the filament initially going into the break, and that'll prevent almost all of your problems, and it'll actually run really nice and smooth. The only time I really don't use the oiler is when I'm going with hotter materials, because I really don't need it, because it doesn't really grab on PET G. It really doesn't clog for me. ABS doesn't clog for me. PC doesn't clog for me. My TPU really doesn't clog, and you don't want nothing else in the way with TPU. So with TPU, I avoid using the runout sensor or being like wrapped around the spool too tight. Make sure that's loose, because any little grab on those TPU, it stretches and it doesn't work right. So take care, Big Prince. Thanks for the file. But yeah, like I said, just something vegetable based in the way of oil will save you a ton of hassle. And just run it through on, especially on PLA. Run it through on some PLA. Just a small, like I said, just 2 drops in your fingers. Run it through on, and it'll cut your problems in half with clogs. Then the other thing is, obviously you don't want to have too much retraction, because now you're pulling too far up out of the melt zone, that's where you're going to get your clogs, because now it's going to come out halfway hot just above into that little PTFE extra section you have that feeds the filament, and that's going to cause a jam when it goes back down. When the printer lights up, it was too much. Yeah. You put too much oil in when it lights up. But yeah, nothing crazy. You don't have to have a lot of oil. Because you get guys that'll be like, oh, I need to oil it, and they'll just dump it on there. It's like, no. That doesn't make it work better. Well, thanks, Will. I'll remind Earl when he gets back that you gave him a nice tip there. I'm sure he'll appreciate it. But I've been arguing with guys that have been doing this. They're like, oh, if you put oil on it, there's something wrong. I think 50 is a bit fast for retraction. You don't need a lot. You're running a volcano hot at number one, and then you're running direct drive. Those type of speeds usually are generally for like if you're using a Bowden style system. So if I was using like my Ender 3 Pro, which is an all Bowden setup, I'd go with like a 6 on my retraction and 50 because I want it done fast because I need to get it out of that through that whole Bowden tube to get pulled back. So that's where you want the speed. Direct drive, you have to remember, you're right there on the gear at the filament. So you don't want nothing getting yanked out quick because now you're going to get like the globbing, the spots on your print, that kind of thing happen from that kind of speed, from what I've seen. Yeah, 2025, that's fine. That's about where I hover at. Like I said, you don't have to be really, really fast. Could be my voice is going up and down too. I'm having a little trouble today. Allergies have been kicking my butt. So sorry if the audio is weird. I don't know. Make sure it's plugged in right.
Sorry about that, folks.
Oh, Will Hunter tipped you.
What's that?
Will Hunter gave you a tip.
Oh, hey, cool. Thanks, dude.
You missed your Stooger's little.
Yeah, I had a nature call, man.
Well, here's the thing. If you're running that kind of retraction at that speed, you're going to tend to pull the Bowden tube up on the inside of a standard heat brake too. So you try not to put too much retraction in.
My volume or Taz's volume?
I said I was cutting in and out, so I don't know. I mean, Is it sounding good on your end?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I've been away for however.
Sorry, my throat's going.
Yeah, that was the other thing too. I had to grab myself some halls, man. I haven't been doing a whole lot of talking over the last couple of weeks either.
These allergies are kicking my butt.
Boom.
Then people think you got the COVID, so it's like they stay away from you then, though.
Yeah, if you want to bump yourself up in line at any of the stores or something like that, just start coughing a little bit. We're getting really, really close to that 2-hour mark. Probably got about another 10-15 minutes, and then we're going to cut it. I've got shipments I got to get out really early in the morning. Run that filament don't go smooth in the tube.
Okay, when you replaced the all metal, you did put the PTFE tube back in, right? So I mean, you have to put a shorter section of PTFE tube back in, or else it's not going to work right.
You got your breakdown image from your video, or
That I can throw up.
well, yeah, you lay it out on your video, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I can pull the video up real quick. Hang on.
it's actually in my start screen on my video, I think too. Like the image. I'm just trying to find the one I had set up. So I actually have it. I actually have almost all the pieces you would need. So you're still going to need, even though it's an all metal hot end, you're still going to need a piece of Bowden tube coming up into this piece here called the filament guide. The one tool you shouldn't be. So it's still going to, this is actually a full size one, but because it's set up, but the tubing is going to still have to come up in here. It's just shorter. So what's going to happen is, let's see if I got an all metal one sitting here. There's an inner ring inside here that you have to get a little bit of PTFE tube in, and it goes up through your filament guide. This sits right below your gear. So it goes right inside the rim, just under here. So from this inside rim to the top portion of the rim, you need a piece of tubing, which is, I want to say, 27 to 28 millimeters, depending upon how much you've got on your threading. So right around there is how much it's going to be in the way of PTFE tubing, or else it's not going to feed properly at all. And a lot of guys miss that because they think they got an all metal hot end. They don't have to have any PTFE tubing. You have to have some in there or it doesn't work right. It has to guide that filament through that path properly, or else it's going to get hung up. And I've seen a few people make the mistake, so you're not like you have it in there? Okay. Make sure it's flush cut too. That's the other thing. If you smashed it in any way or knocked it out around, it needs to be flat cut. So it needs to be a straight cut on both sides, or else you're going to get where it grabs when it's going in and feeding.
This brings up a subject that's come up a couple of times over the last couple of weeks, more than once. Cold pulling. How many of you guys out there are familiar with that term?
Oh, yeah. Don't do it.
Yeah. Don't do it on these printers. The way the hot ends are set up, they do not lend themselves very well to cold pulls. You can damage the PTFE tube and actually start creating gaps in there, which leads to clogging and other shit going on.
Yep.
Yeah, cold pulling is the action of heating up the hot end, getting your filament heated up, and then turning it off and letting it cool down to just it's about 180, 190. Yeah. And then you yank the shit out of the filament and pull it out, and you end up with a plug. Older printers, we used to have to do that from time to time. You don't do it with these printers, not the way the hot ends are set up. Because what you'll get, I don't know if I can quickly get a...
What you get is some of your lower PTFE tube going with it.
Yeah.
That's what you'll get.
And more
what
often...
you don't want.
Well, the little boot that sits over top of the PTFE tube on top of everything, it actually will stop that lower PTFE tube from raising up too high. But what you're doing is you're deforming potentially the PTFE tube. Let's see if I can get a
You're tearing the shit out of it. So you're actually widening the hole and everything else, which isn't good. But if those get out of round, they're cut weird. I mean, if you don't have an actual cutter for PTFE tube, your best thing to do is run a small piece of filament through the tube and cut it with a razor blade as flat as you can. Because you want it completely round and unmolested, I guess is the only way I can think of how to put it. It needs to be nice and round and flat.
Yeah, that's, people do cold pulls often to try to resolve clogging issues and things like that. Oh. And those...
Where'd you get the Christmas tree lights from?
Well, if you look towards the bottom of those images, you can see that's a classic example right there of what you don't want to have happening. That's showing a gap, okay? A gap that's actually in the channel. Well, when you yank up on that, okay, that plug that's, towards the bottom of those plastic dicks that you're looking at there, those little plugs right there, they'll deform the end of your PTFE tube. And the more you do it, the worse it gets.
Like I said, they look like the little Christmas tree lights that you put back in when they burn out.
I was just looking for the nastiest looking picture I could find.
But do you see it?
Yes.
It looks like the bulbs. That's where I was like, it just looks like the bulbs that you drop all over the floor when you get a new roll of lights. The spares. It's like if you're going for Christmas tree lights, you succeeded.
One of the nicest things that you can get, of course I'm not going to find anything. I hate Google. Oh. There we go. Cleaning filament. That's one of the nicest little additions that you can get for your printer, and your printer will love you for it. The stuff lasts forever. You get a pretty big coil of it. I'm an eSun guy. I've been using that stuff for 6+ years now. As part of regular maintenance, regardless of what filament I'm using, about once every week, maybe two, usually two. You grab about 16 inches of that stuff and use your filament change feature on the printer, and just run that stuff through the printer. All of that shit that gets built up inside of your nozzles and everything, like that other image that I showed you guys, all that stuff will go away. And an added benefit, okay, and it's to an extremely lesser degree, with all metal hot ends and things like that, this stuff to some degree will further enhance the polish that's on the inside of your hot ends. So that's just something else to take into consideration. And this stuff isn't expensive either. I've been using the same coil now for about 6 months, I think, and I've probably got half of it at least, or a third of it left or whatever. And I think at the time I got it, it was like only $15 or something like that. So it'll last for a long time.
I ever use cleaning filament, to be honest.
That's kind of like the PEI sheet and a resin printer, dude. Give it a try. Give it a try. It'll solve a lot of grief for you. And, for some of the people out there that, looking at those nozzles and or looking at those cold pulls and everything like that, the last two aren't so bad. But the first two, those are, just problems waiting to happen right there, and it's going to be too long, or it won't be too long before you get other issues starting. If you're working with exotic filaments and things like that, like wood, definitely if you're using wood filament and everything like that on even a semi-regular basis and things like that, it's a good idea to do that because unlike your standard PLAs and things like that, the wood filament, if you've ever had a wood stove and you burnt pine in it, and you ever had to go back through and clean out your chimney or the flue, you get a buildup in. Yes,
Ooh.
you get a buildup in there, and it's basically a glaze. Same thing happens. Yep,
a chimney sweep back in the day.
Same thing happens in your printer, with the wood filaments and things like that. And for some of the formulas that are out there, it wouldn't surprise me if, how they're putting plastic in rice and shit like that. It wouldn't surprise me if they're not using, fillers and crap like that for some of the filaments that are out there, some of the shit filaments anyways. So, again, cleaning filaments will solve most of those issues, and it'll give you peace of mind. So,
I think you hit your 2-hour mark.
4 minutes. Yeah, folks, we're just about at the ass end of thing, unless anybody's got anything else to go. We've gone from tequila vomit to
to real printer stuff.
Yep.
We actually made it today.
Yep. I'll just interject for some of the newer people that might have popped in on the stream. The marketplace, that was one of the main issues, things that I wanted to bring up on the stream. There is it'd probably help if I had one set up for you guys so you guys see all my pirating sites and shit on there. It's not readily available for
use.
Not to regular users yet. I'm going to make it active probably by Friday. There we go. The marketplace is a buy-sell trade for you users. Roxas, there was some news stories out about some rice making its way around the world, and it happens every year or two. I'm pretty entrenched in the Asian side of things in my family here, so I hear about the stuff maybe more. Yeah, there was claims that some of the exporters and importers were cutting the rice with plastic rice. So, yeah. But
wouldn't it cost more than rice?
I guess it depends on where you get it from.
I'm just thinking, it's like plastic pellets aren't cheap, so.
Or it depends on what country said plastic is residing in. We'll leave that out of it. But anyways, the marketplace features, it's not for sellers, stores. It's not for resellers or shops or anything like that. It's just for
swap meet for 3D printer users.
3D printing, modeling, models, STLs, files, and things like that. That's a really touchy subject, and unless it's something that you yourself did, I'd rather not see it at all on here because there's too much. We don't have any way to actually prove if somebody has licensing or anything like that to sell files. So I'm just not going to allow that sort of thing going on. If anybody wants to trade files or something like that, do it on your own, do it in private messaging, whatever. As long as I don't see it, whatever. But this is, if you guys got, an old printer you want to get rid of, some other odds and ends of things, you can throw it up on here. The features involved, you can set prices for it. You can flag it for, make me an offer, or price is negotiable, so on and so forth. No money is transferred on the site. It's all handled between you, the users. So we have no liability. But if anybody abuses it, or if anybody starts causing problems or anything like that, I will find you. You guys know the Liam Neeson thing right there. There's also another feature that I've already got all this coded in. It's all done. I'm just dressing it up and prettying it up a little bit right now. In the future, if you guys are interested in and or would like to see a auction feature, I can throw that in there too with all the happy auction stuff, so it'll be up to you guys whether or not you want to see that or not. Adding an item is really easy. I've got just some of the preliminary. I want to keep it as simple as possible. I mean, there's fucking 40 pages of legalities that I could post for this. I want to keep it as simple as possible. I shot it out to my lawyer, and I had my lawyer actually give me the Everfresh translation of all of it and everything like that, because you guys are like me. Even looking at some of my posts or listening to me rant on the streams and things like that, I can go on for 15 or 20 minutes before Taz, says something. So I wanted to keep it simple. It's just basically, as I say here, keep it clean, keep it simple. It's just a feature I'm putting in for you guys to use and everything like that. I'm not making anything off of it. I'm not charging anything for it. It's just one of those things I wanted to do to hook everybody up, so we can kind of keep stuff in the family, if you will. So on and so forth. That'll be active, and probably by the stream on Friday, I'll also have another handful of I'll have another handful of the showcase artists up. Like I said, I mentioned earlier to some of the people that were in the stream early, if you guys got some really cool model Patreons or model sites and things like that, that you think I might be interested in, or you think anybody else might be interested in, throw them links to them in the Discord. I'll check them out, and hopefully I leave my credit card in the other room. We'll go from there. Yep. So, alrighty. We can get back to our main screen. Bless you, sir. If that's what that was.
Sorry. Oh.
And
you always have that timing. Catch me while I'm sneezing and shit. Thanks.
Roxas, like I said, there's 40 pages of crap that I can put in there under the terms of use and everything like that, and I'll add to it as time goes on, kind of on a case-by-case basis. The whole animals thing and everything like that, the only reason I put that in is I was talking with someone else about this, and they basically just said something goofy along the lines of, what's to prevent, you waking up one morning and finding somebody, selling, retarded ferrets, or six-toed cats and shit like that, and it's like,
or a queef in a bag.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too, and okay, you'll notice if anybody hops on the site and goes ahead and puts something up, go ahead and experiment with it, because it's not going to, when it goes live, I have it set, and it's going to remain that way, just for legal purposes and things like that, and also to allow that message, for Christ's sake.
No. I didn't see it.
Well, it popped up on my screen just now, so it's like...
It just popped. I mean, I just got it, so give me a break, man.
We have set... No, I was just saying, the stream, or the chat bot. We'll get all the words eventually, because we have used far worse.
We have very bad vocabulary.
Yep. I like it that way. We're not here. We're not here for 1.2 million subs or anything like that. That'd be cool if it was, but we're not here for any of that. It's we're all adults here. Um, well, Bolus hasn't showed up. He usually starts getting everybody going, and we start talking about Gandalf and everything like that. And
Yep.
yeah, Bullis hasn't showed up, but I don't blame him either. The notifications, both on Twitch and YouTube, seem to be really wonky right now.
Real
And
slow.
yeah, and I'm trying to resolve it. I'm just one guy, man. I'm trying to get all the notifications resolved and everything like that. And there will be. Oh, Bonky, you don't have to, but it's appreciated. I'm not going to complain. Anything that the channel generates or anything like that is just going right back into the content, and primarily, stuff for giveaways and stuff like that. I did, which brings up the other subject. I'm going to be printing up some resin this week that isn't proprietary and commercial, in hopes of being able to kind of show off some stuff to you guys to put in for some giveaways. Those of you out there that those of you guys that are out there that don't have resin printers or anything like that, but you want to get into, or if you're into painting and stuff like that. um, oh, thanks, Bonky. um, I want to start, getting the giveaways going and stuff like that. Not to, get more subs or anything like that, but it's kind of part of one of the reasons I wanted to do this sort of stuff too. I like getting people enthused about doing this stuff, and that's kind of what it's all about. I mean, if I was in it for the money and everything like that, I think my bill would have been underpaid probably years ago. I don't mind investing my time and effort into this stuff and everything like that, because at this point, what else do I have to do? I'm working, usually 12, 15, 16 hours a day on my own stuff and everything like that, and being able to kick back for a couple hours is an opportunity for me to sit on my ass for a little bit and be a little bit of a comedian from time to time. So it's appreciated, guys. Let's see, what else was there? Yeah, Calvin. A lot of you guys know Calvin Witt, probably from the artillery groups, and maybe if you're familiar with YouTube and 3D printing and stuff like that. Calvin has been so what's a good word to use?
Disillusioned.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say disenfranchised or discombobulated, but yeah, the 3D printing community, and this isn't directed at anybody in particular, okay, unless it does apply to you, fuckers. Um, the 3D printing community over the last couple of years has just gone to royal shit in certain ways. Um, Yeah, Bonky, we're on Twitch. The Twitch channel link is usually in most of the videos after I re-upload them onto YouTube. You're more than welcome to join us on Twitch. I personally like Twitch as a platform myself, because YouTube can get a little finicky. Last week, during one of the streams we had, YouTube was just up and down over the whole course of the stream, and it was really pissing me off. And Len, for as long as I've been doing this, okay, I'm not going to get into all the history again, but for as long as I've been doing this, resin printing, to me, is a lot less dedicated than FDM printing is. There are so many more variables involved with FDM printing that it's a lot to me, okay, and I do my very best to kind of look at it as somebody who maybe doesn't know anything about this stuff. There's a lot less to go wrong. But the caveat to that, the flip side of that is you got to make sure that you follow the rules. FDM, you can get away with breaking some of the rules, and You're not going to really hurt anybody or hurt anything. With resin printing, you got to follow the rules and things like that. Otherwise, you're either going to get bad prints all the time, or in some cases, just like any other material, whether it be ABS, filament printing, or uh, firing your hot end up to 300C, and smoking your PTFE tube, these the functions of these machines, the functions of these materials and things like that can create, toxic environments. And resin printing, as long as you're willing to accept the challenge that, you got to be relatively clean about it, and you got to, adhere to the rules all the time and everything like that, it's really fucking rewarding. If all you've ever done is FDM printing, and the very first time you get a resin printer, and I got to say this, and I'm going to give some props to Taz there. Okay, when he first got his resin printer and everything like that, he was glowing like a lawn gnome. He's showing off the first prints and everything like that, and I get enthusiastic about that because I still get that way, whether it's a new printer or a new model or something like that. Being a sculptor and a designer, jewelry, stuff like that, artist for all these years and everything like that, when something comes out good and just the details there and everything like that, it's just kind of hard to explain what that does for you. And FDM has its limits, that you're just not going to be able to, nail with resin. And resin's cheap now. We were talking about pricing just a little while back. It wasn't too far long ago that liters, if you will, of resin averaged 80, 90, 100, 110 bucks all the time. Now you can get some damn good resins that are better than the stuff that we've been using for the last 4 or 5 years, for about 30 bucks. So prices are coming down, and it's actually brought it more in line with filament prices. Filament prices have gone up. Okay, it seems like a lot of even some of the cheaper brands right now, just because of the COVID thing, they ended up tacking, what, 10, 15, 20 bucks onto a spool just because they could. So, yeah. We will walk you through resin the best we can. We're going to have shows and time slots for the shows that are dedicated exclusively to the resin side of stuff. There's going to be stuff, dedicated exclusively like we do for artillery and things like that to the FDM side of things, as well as, modeling, painting, kit bashing, name it. Might even do some barbecues every now and then. We'll see how things go. So, well, hearing you say that, Bonky, that's the reward. I've got a 10-year-old son that is relatively new to doing this. He's not with me here. Him and my wife are in Hawaii. So our day-to-day interaction for right now anyways is primarily Skype every day. So I've had to kind of tailor the way I do things around teaching him at a distance, and I'd like to think anyways, that we explain things easy or well enough so that somebody who's a different part of the world or something like that can pick up on this. And for me, part of the motivating drive behind doing the channel and the live streaming and stuff like that is you can go to a website and read articles and documentation and even watch YouTube videos all day, okay, and still not get it. Nothing compares to actually kind of having somebody live every now and then can just kind of walk you through your specific issue or answer your specific question right then and there. So that's kind of another reason I wanted to do that too, because I handle it as far as support goes and everything like that. I support a number of printers. I do a lot for artillery and everything like that, and I get hundreds of PMs every day. A lot of times they're the same questions and things like that, and I answer them the best I can. But I got to have time to do my own shit too, and the best way for me to get the word out for a lot of this stuff and everything like that is to do these live streams. So kind of
So
what this is
if
all
we're
about.
not on, we also have Discord for artillery. A lot of us hang out on there.
Yep. Pop that
I
link in
put the
there.
link. I put the link
Oh, I
up
see it.
top.
Yep.
So if you get stuck, hop on there. I mean, even if your English is not good, we can actually. We do have a screen share thing going on there now. Where you can kind of show each other what's going on. You could kind of try and talk it through as well. So
Yeah, that's something. That's something else too, Bunky. We, if you don't understand, at least in this format, you have an opportunity to kind of bring it back and say, well, what do you mean? Or yeah, we'll keep, when necessary, we'll keep explaining it until we get it going. Grump, thanks for showing up, guy.
have a good night,
Normal
Grump.
normal weekly stream should be happening Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't foresee any issues coming up or anything like that. So for you guys that are going to be taking off here in a few minutes, we'll see you Friday if you show up. If you're new to the stream, new to the channel, like, subscribe, follow, hit that notification bell on YouTube, and you should hopefully get notifications that we're going live with the streaming. I used to say Twitch used to be better at notifying people and everything like that, but some of you Twitch people have been telling me that you haven't been getting notifications, so I don't know what's up. I'm doing what I can, I try to keep a schedule on the channel, on the Twitch channel anyway, so you can see when the tentative or the planned stream is, and we'll go from there. So anyways, everybody, thanks for showing up. Friday ought to be kind of hopping and rocking. I kind of plan on doing a little bit of a long haul Friday, so we'll keep our fingers crossed with that, and hopefully I'll have some nifty shit to show you guys. Appreciate y'all showing up. Taz, you got anything else?
Have a great night, guys. See ya.